The Ritual, 2025, directed by David Meidel, opens in 1928 Erling, Iowa, with a raw, handheld camera style that gives the religious horror thriller a gritty, documentary-like feel. The story begins in a small, devoutly Catholic town where Father Joseph Steiger, played by Dan Stevens, is a young parish priest grappling with a crisis of faith after his brother's recent suicide. Stevens portrays Steiger with a gaunt, hollow-eyed intensity, his pale face and weary demeanor reflecting deep grief and skepticism. His sermons to the modest congregation feel mechanical, and his interactions with the nuns, warm, empathetic Sister Rose, played by Ashley Greene, and stern yet compassionate Mother Superior, played by Patricia Heaton, are polite but distant, hinting at his emotional isolation. The film establishes its central theme of faith versus reason, as Steiger, a man of science, quietly questions the church's reliance on spiritual solutions over medical ones. The quiet Iowa setting, with its dusty roads and simple wooden homes, is disrupted when Bishop Edwards arrives with urgent news. Emma Schmidt, a young woman showing signs of demonic possession, requires an exorcism. Steiger, skeptical of supernatural explanations, suggests psychiatric care, his voice tight with frustration. What if she just needs a doctor? The bishop, unwavering, insists on bringing in Father Theophilus Riesinger, a seasoned Capuchin priest known for performing exorcisms. The low-budget production is noticeable in the minimal period details. A single shot of vintage cars, possibly CGI-enhanced, sets the pre-Great Depression era, but the shaky camera work creates an unsettling, intimate atmosphere. Father Riesinger's arrival marks a turning point. Pacino, hunched and weathered, delivers a restrained performance, his soft Bavarian accent and gentle eyes conveying a quiet conviction that contrasts with his usual fiery roles. His father Theophilus exudes wisdom and weariness, carrying the weight of past battles with the supernatural. Tension flares immediately between him and Steiger, whose progressive views clash with Riesinger's traditional faith. In a heated exchange in the convent's dim hallway, Steiger challenges the use of restraints on Emma, arguing, "This feels like cruelty, not salvation." Riesinger responds calmly but firmly, "Your lack of faith is a price we all pay," his words cutting through Steiger's doubts. Pacino's understated delivery makes the rebuke resonate, setting up the ideological battle between science and spirituality that drives the narrative. Emma, portrayed by Cowan as a youthful, angelic figure in her late 20s, unlike the real-life Schmidt who was in her 40s, appears both fragile and terrifying. Cowan's performance is physically demanding, her delicate features twisting into expressions of terror and rage. In an early scene, her family describes her night terrors, violent outbursts, and aversion to holy objects, convincing them of possession. Emma's first appearance is chilling. Tied to a chair, she hisses at a crucifix, her eyes wild and voice guttural. The convent's nuns, including Sister Rose and Mother Superior, react with a mix of fear and duty. Green's Sister Rose offers quiet compassion, her hands trembling as she adjusts Emma's restraints, while Mother Superior, with her furrowed brow and authoritative presence, urges vigilance, warning, "We're in a battle for her soul."
The exorcism begins in a sparse upstairs room at St. Joseph's Convent under Riesinger's strict orders: silence, locked doors, and constant prayer. The handheld camera intensifies the claustrophobia, though its constant shaking occasionally distracts from the horror. As the ritual starts, the atmosphere shifts, temperatures plummet, and the air feels heavy. Emma convulses, her voice splitting into multiple tones, mocking, vile, and eerily calm. Cowan's performance peaks as Emma speaks in Latin, German, Spanish, and Aramaic, naming demons like Beelzebub and Judas Iscariot. She reveals personal details about her abusive father and her aunt, rumored to be a witch, blurring the line between psychological trauma and supernatural evil. The film hints at this ambiguity but leans heavily into the spiritual explanation, a choice that underscores its pro-faith stance. Steiger's skepticism begins to crack as Emma displays unnatural knowledge, taunting him about his brother's suicide and his hidden feelings for Sister Rose. In a disturbing moment, she licks his arm, whispering suggestive taunts, her voice both seductive and menacing. Stevens captures Steiger's growing unease with wide-eyed horror and trembling hands, his rational worldview unraveling. Riesinger, unfazed, remains the steady anchor, his gentle humor masking his resolve. In a pivotal scene, he delivers a stirring monologue to Steiger in the convent's chapel. Evil like this isn't cured by science or psychology. You're either with God or against him. Pacino's quiet intensity elevates the faith-driven rhetoric, though it veers into science-denying territory, alienating Steiger's progressive pragmatism. As the exorcism, condensed from months to 23 grueling days, escalates, Emma's attacks grow violent. She bites nuns, rips hair from Sister Rose's scalp, and levitates, accompanied by poltergeist-like effects, doors slamming, windows rattling. The shaky camera work obscures some of these moments, but the bombastic score by Jason Lazarus and Joseph Trapanese amplifies the chaos, with loud, jarring cues that heighten the jump scares. Sister Rose emerges as a standout, her fear giving way to bravery as she endures physical harm, her performance adding a feminist layer to the male-dominated narrative. Green's quiet strength shines in a scene where she comforts Emma, whispering, "You're still in there," despite her own injuries. Heaton's Mother Superior grows increasingly concerned, her stern facade cracking as she warns Riesinger, "This is tearing the convent apart." Steiger's torment deepens as the demons target his vulnerabilities, claiming his brother is burning in hell. Stevens portrays a man unraveling, his skepticism crumbling under the weight of supernatural evidence. In a quiet moment, he confides in Sister Rose, his voice breaking, "I want to believe there's a reason for this suffering." Green's gentle response, filled with quiet resolve, hints at a subtle romantic tension, though the film leaves it unexplored. Riesinger, growing wearier with each session, never wavers, his faith unshaken. Pacino's performance is the film's emotional core. His tired eyes and soft prayers convey a man who has seen too much, yet presses on.
The climax arrives in a frenzied, chaotic ritual on the final day. Emma's physical transformation is harrowing. Her body contorts, she vomits strange substances, and her strength becomes unearthly. The camera's erratic zooms undermine some of the horror, but the actor's raw emotion carries the scene. Steiger, now shaken but resolute, joins Riesinger in chanting scripture, his voice cracking with newfound faith. Stevens' performance captures a man crossing a spiritual threshold, his hands steady despite his fear. Cowan's portrayal of Emma is both pitiful and terrifying, her screams blending with childlike whimpers, evoking sympathy for her suffering. As Riesinger commands the demons to leave, the room shakes and Emma's eyes clear, signaling the exorcism's success. The demons flee, leaving her exhausted but alive. In the aftermath, Emma returns to a semblance of normalcy, though whispers suggest the demons occasionally returned, a nod to the real-life case's ambiguity. Riesinger, visibly aged by the ordeal, departs quietly, Pacino's final scene radiating somber victory as he murmurs, "God's work is never done." Steiger, transformed by the experience, writes a journal questioning whether he witnessed divine or psychological phenomena, his narration delivered with a mix of peace and uncertainty. "I saw something in that room. God, the devil, or just a broken mind. I'll never know." Stevens' closing words underscore the film's unresolved tension between faith and science. The ritual explores the clash between faith and skepticism, the psychological toll of trauma, and the power of belief in confronting evil. Its pro-faith stance, emphasized by Riesinger's monologues, contrasts with Steiger's scientific doubts, creating a moral tension that resonates but feels one-sided. The inclusion of diverse nuns, while progressive, feels anachronistic for the 1920s, reflecting a woke agenda that critics note is historically inaccurate. The emotional weight lies in the characters' struggles, Steiger's grief, Emma's suffering, and Riesinger's quiet burden, elevated by strong performances despite a derivative script. Pacino's restrained intensity, Stevens' emotional unraveling, and Cowan's physicality are highlights. while Green and Heaton add depth to underdeveloped roles. The shaky camera work and low-budget aesthetic, while immersive, often detract from the horror, making the film feel more tragic than terrifying. Ultimately, The Ritual is a somber, faith-driven retelling of a historic exorcism, compelling yet predictable, with its cast's earnestness battling a familiar genre framework.
It's time to end now. Thank you for your time and attention to my video. Before you leave, please click subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to my channel. Okay, now, goodbye. See you next time.